Have you ever sent a message, felt completely fine for a few minutes, and then started to worry because the other person did not reply? At first, nothing has happened. They may simply be busy. They may not have seen the message yet. They may be tired, distracted, driving, working, or dealing with something in their own life. But silence can feel louder than words. You check your phone again. You read your message back. You wonder if you said too much or not enough. Maybe your tone sounded wrong. Maybe they are upset. Maybe you made things awkward. Maybe they are slowly pulling away. And suddenly, a quiet space becomes a story about rejection. For some people, silence does not feel neutral. It feels personal. A delayed reply can feel like distance. A short answer can feel like annoyance. A pause in someone's voice can feel like disappointment. A person being quiet in the same room can feel like something is wrong, even when there is no clear evidence. Why does that happen? Sometimes, your mind has learned that silence used to mean something important. Maybe silence came after an argument. Maybe people withdrew when they were upset. Maybe you had to notice small changes in someone's mood before they explained what was wrong. Maybe affection, attention, or approval could suddenly disappear without warning. When that happens often enough, your nervous system may begin treating silence like a signal, not a neutral pause, a warning. It starts asking, "What did I do? What did I miss? Should I fix this before it gets worse?" And because silence gives you so little information, your mind starts filling in the empty space on its own, usually with fear. A person does not reply for a few hours, and your mind imagines disappointment. Someone looks distracted, and your mind imagines that they do not want to be around you. A friend becomes quieter than usual, and your mind starts looking for the moment when you might have pushed them away. But silence does not always mean rejection. Sometimes it means someone is busy. Sometimes it means they are tired. Sometimes it means they do not know what to say yet. Sometimes it means they are dealing with something that has nothing to do with you. And sometimes it really is just silence. The difficult part is that knowing this logically does not always make your body believe it. Your body may still react as if the connection is in danger. You may feel restless. You may want to send another message. You may feel the urge to explain yourself, apologize, make a joke, ask if everything is okay, or somehow bring the warmth back before it disappears completely. Not because you are needy, not because you are trying to control someone, but because part of you is trying to make the uncertainty stop. Silence can be uncomfortable because it leaves room for not knowing. And for someone who learned to stay alert to other people's moods, not knowing can feel unsafe. So you search for clues. You look at the last time they were online. You notice whether they used an emoji. You replay the last conversation. You compare their tone now to their tone before. You try to turn every small detail into an answer. But often, the more you search, the less calm you feel. Because the mind that is afraid of rejection can make almost anything look like evidence. A delayed reply becomes proof. A short message becomes proof. A neutral face becomes proof. And before long, you are no longer responding to what the other person actually did. You are responding to the fear of what their silence might mean. That fear can make relationships feel exhausting, because you are not only enjoying the connection, you are constantly checking whether the connection is still safe. And that is a heavy way to care about people. You may start trying to earn reassurance without realizing it. You become extra helpful. You explain more than necessary. You apologize for small things. You make yourself easier to deal with. You try to be so thoughtful, so available, so careful that nobody would ever have a reason to pull away. But you cannot completely protect yourself from being misunderstood. You cannot make every person respond exactly when you need them to. And you cannot think your way into perfect certainty that everyone still feels the same about you. Sometimes the real work is noticing what silence activates inside you. Is this moment actually showing rejection? Or is it touching an older fear of being left out, blamed, ignored, or abandoned? That question does not make the feeling disappear instantly, but it can create a little space. A delayed reply may still make your chest feel tight. A quiet room may still make you want to ask what is wrong. but you can begin to remind yourself, I do not know what this silence means yet. I do not need to decide that it means the worst. I can let there be a pause without immediately turning it into a problem I need to solve. That is difficult, especially at first, because your mind may keep bringing you possibilities. Maybe they are upset. Maybe they are losing interest. Maybe I should say something. Maybe I should fix it. You do not have to fight those thoughts. You do not have to pretend you do not care. You can simply notice that your mind is trying to protect you from rejection before rejection has actually happened. And you can be gentle with that part of yourself. It probably learned to be watchful for a reason, but it may not need to interpret every quiet moment as danger anymore. You are allowed to wait for more information. You are allowed to let someone have a quiet day. You are allowed to let a message stay unanswered for a while. You are allowed to exist without constantly checking whether you are still wanted. And maybe that is where a different kind of safety begins. Not when every person reassures you immediately. Not when silence disappears. But when you slowly learn that silence is not always a door closing. Sometimes it is just space. And you can survive the space without filling it with fear. If this helped you see yourself a little differently, consider liking the video and subscribing to The Quiet Why. And if you know someone who always assumes silence means something is wrong, maybe send this to them. They may need the reminder that not every quiet moment is rejection.